Sorry. Bumili na. Dili mo ko dapat mo.
Tika itong kay Brian.
Dili ko na.
Sino ba? Sino kay Brian? Ikaw ako daw sa Brian.
Dili mo na sa ibabaw. Dili. Mong ba ni kabok?
Ha? 9?
6.
Sige na pangalan yung ano, Justin?
Yan lang.
Ha?
Pangalan sa
Hindi ka nang nada ba? Yang
Hindi.
Hindi? Okay, so. Magkaon na ito, hindi ba?
Sa Day! 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 Ano sa iskuya ni mo, Day? Yung kaon siya, Day. Sorry for the disturbance, no? So anyway, what we're going to do is we will add roles, roles to the user. So this is our user, no? This is our users, no? For example, I'm going to make admin part of the admin role and the user role, the admin and the secretary, no? So I'll copy this. This is the ID of the user. Okay. Okay. Si admin ito. I'm going to copy this and put it here. Role ID. Ito yung role ID, no? Do you follow? And then, no, admin. Ito ba siya, no? Yeah, this is 697. That is an admin, no? And then the role we want to assign is administrator ito. Okay? So A. Copy this and put it here. Okay. And then yeah. I'll just go down, no? And then it's saved. Okay? Now let me look at your let us go back to our site, no? So if you edit administrator, we now have admin here. Do you follow? Okay. So kare-record ko lang na, I'm sorry, Pastrano, no? Okay. Anyway, that's what we are doing. We are trying to add a role to the user. This is already recorded, no? Okay, so si admin yan. Now, what if I'd like to make admin also the secretary, no? I can go back to my, okay, si admin ngayon gusto ko rin gawing secretary, no? So, secretary, this is the role for secretary. Do you follow? No? And then, I'm going to add it here. Okay, and then I'm going to copy this because, so I'm going to copy ito, 697, that's the administrator. Okay, and save it. Okay. So, let's look at our is the admin already in the secretary? Yes, nandiyan na siya. Okay, do you follow? And then let's add S to the secretary. We have a user called S. Ito si S at r.com. Do you follow? Idadagdag natin siya sa secretary. We'll copy this. And that .NET user roles. No? This is S, no? And then what's the secretary role? The secretary role is this. Kita nga ba nito? CD4 ba yung user ID ni secretary? Let me just check. Yeah, that's it. CD4. Kita nga ba? Yeah, that's correct anyway, no? Now it's saved. Let's go back to our let's look at secretary. So we have two users in the secretary role, s@r.com and admin@r.com. Okay? Any questions so far? No? So ganun, madadagdag na yung users in the role. We now have a role management. So let's look at the code again. So anyway, in our get method, we are trying to show all the users. Okay? Do you follow? Do you follow? Let's look at the edit SHTML, the HTML. Ito. So ito. Okay? We have this, no? We made a loop in the card body. This is a card body. Okay? We are going to print the user, no? For each model users. What is this? This is our roles view model ito. Because we have users in this list. Ito. Okay? Ito yung users, no? Do you follow? So, in our index edit HTML, we have model.users, no? Ito yung user list of this model. We are going to look through and we are just going to edit the username, okay? Which is the user, no? Sa isa. Do you follow? Do you get my point? Okay. Anyway, users is a list or it's an array. How did we know that? In our roles view model, we have specified users as a list of strings. Okay? Any questions so far? Okay? Now, what I'd like to do really is this, no? We are going to have, let me run this again. Na-stop ko pala, no? Okay? For example, no? Dito sa role management, what we are going to do is, when we, for example, all encoders, no? We edit this role, and then we add or remove users, no? So, pwede natin i-check box. Okay, we can check who are this. For example, if R and admin and this, no? Our encoders, we update, no? Now, we have 3 roles here. We follow 3 users in this role. Okay? Any questions so far? So that's what I'm going to introduce you today. Now, how do we add users in the role? We already know how to update the role. Okay? So we said, okay, we can update the role name. But what we are going to show is how to add users to the role. I have just shown you how to list the users in the role, no? Ito, no? How to list the users in the role. Like, for example, encoders. These are the users in this role. Okay? By using the controller and the HTML. Any questions so far? No? So let's do that. No? Now, we need a different model. Okay? We need a different model because the table that stores the user roles is a different table. Okay? So take note, no? When we listed the roles, we use this ASP.NET Roles table. Do you follow? Okay. This is the source of our roles. But the user roles actually come from a different table. Ito yun. Do you follow? Do you follow? They come from a different table. Okay? Pwede nga natin itong i-delete. I-delete. Delete natin na para mawala lahat ng mga roles assigned to users. Okay? Okay, so wala na lahat ng roles, no? It's just like deleting all not user roles, okay? So what we are going to do is to show this table on the no, to edit the contents of this table. Do you follow? So remember, we are going to make a temporary view called roles view model, no? View models, no? So ito, mag-create tayo ng new model. I've already created it myself, no? This is the role users view model. Do you follow? Role users view model. You have user ID, username, and is selected. Okay? What do we mean by this? No? If you look at this table, no? We pass the role to this view. we have the list of users. Dito natin isi-save yung lahat ng users, no? And then, the role ID, we assign it here. That's why we have this, no? Ang role ID will be a shared variable. And then we have selected because if the user is part of the role, automatically it will have a check. Do you follow? Do you follow? And then in our controller, we'll create, okay, in our roles controller, we create a new function, no? Also called role users. Edit users in role, ito, no? So, like the edit role, we have HTTP get and HTTP post. Okay? What we are going to do, we pass a role ID, no? We are going to uh, parse this table given a role ID. Do you follow? We are going to uh, inspect this table or parse this table one by one, no? Given a role ID, which means we are going to list the users in a given role. Do you follow? So here's the get, no? Ito yung get. We pass a role ID and then we get the role from the role manager. What will this do? It will get the role from the roles table, ASP.NET roles table given an ID. Saan kukunin? Dito sa ASP.NET roles. Ito. It will look for a role in the role given a role ID and then will return that single role. Okay? So ito define natin. Okay? Now, if you have not found the role, we'll say the role is not found. We'll just return to not found. Okay? And then this view bug. What is view bug? If you remember a session manager, no? We have a role ID in the view bug, which means that we have a variable in the view bug, which we will show later, no? And then we have a role name in the view bug because we are going to show this in our web page. This is like session variables, no? Do you follow? Okay? Why is that? Because in the edit roles, edit users in roles, no? We have this, no? We are going to show first the role ID and the role name. Ito yung role name. Do you follow? That's why we place it in the view bug. Ito yung view bug natin. What is view bug? It's just like a set of variable session variables, okay? So anyway, so ganito ang mangyari niyan, no? If you look at our website, okay? We go to role management, okay? And we click edit and we say add or remove users in role. Ito yung view bug. No, this is the list of users in the role. Okay, ito yon. So this comes from the view bug. Add or remove users from secretary role. Do you follow? Galing ito dito, add or remove users at role name, no? This is the view bug, no? Role name. Okay? Okay, ito galing ito sa view bug role name. Do you follow? Okay? I think we can specify this more, no? View bug dot. Okay, let's try to find out kung dapat ganyan. Yes, that's more specific, no? Kasi iba yung model, iba yung Walang errors, no? Role management. Then we edit, for example, I have deleted all users, no? But I add or remove, no? So this is the view bug. Okay? You follow? No? Ilagyan ko ito so that when I upload this will be more specific, no? Okay? Okay. How do we list down? We are going to use a for loop. Ito. So this is a a C# code. When we say at is followed by a C# code. We only do this line per line. When you have an at in the line, that line is followed by a C# code. Okay? But we started a div already, so automatically, no, ASP.NET Core will shift to HTML, no? Pagdating dito, HTML na ito. HTML na ito. Like in this case, we had at model. Okay, that's inside the code. This is a C-sharp code. Okay, this is a C-sharp code. Do you follow? This is a C-sharp code that's inside the parameter codes, no? Ito. Do you follow? Okay? Okay? And then this is now an HTML. This is an HTML. Now, this is the end of the C-sharp code. Automatically, no? It will show you the, no? It will shift from C-sharp code to HTML. Now, we pass the role ID to this. Ito yung i-pass natin ang role ID, no? So, in our get, let's look at that, no? In our get, no? Ang role ID. So, ito yung ipapass dito. Ito. Do you follow? When the submit button, ito yung ipapass dito, no? Let's look at the post. Okay? Okay? When we look at the post, no? Automatically, the role ID that is being passed is this. It's the same role ID that we have in our edit users enroll. Ito. That will be passed. However, we have in our roles controller, we have injected an additional injected ito, meron ganito. In this notation, this is a dependency injection, which means that this will be injected as the first parameter even if the calling code does not explicitly specify it. Okay? Okay? Okay. So what we are going to do is we are going to loop down, no? I-loop natin. Dito naman, we just displayed the selected, no? Role users view model is selected is equal to true. Okay, so now in our HTML, do you follow? We have models I that is selected. Do you follow? Ito yung iloloop niya, which is taken from the roles controller. Ito is selected. Okay, this is the view model that we are going to pass. Take note, oh. Ito yan. This is the model that we are going to pass. Ito. Okay, ito siya. So we are going to add it, no, to the model, which is the list of users, and the is selected is either true or false. And that's the same thing that is displayed here. Ito yung model, the I that is selected. This is the is selected variable of our view model. Ito. Okay, any questions so far? Rin. Any questions so far? How much do we have for our recording? Tagal pa tayo, no? So matatapos natin ito. Any questions? Rin is here. Okay, you follow? How do we save? We save in the HTTP post. Okay? Hindi sa HTTP get. So dito sa HTTP post, we are going to save. What we are going to do is we are going to pass the role users view model and the string, which is the role ID, no? Saan kukunin ito? Galing dito sa HTML ito, role ID that we are passing. Do you follow? Role ID. Because the role ID is part of the view bug, no? Specifically we can say view bug. That role ID. Mas klaro, di ba? Okay. Mas klaro, galing sa view bug. Now, let's look at the roles controller. Remember, we saved the role ID in the view bug. Ito, at the beginning of the role. And we also saved the role name in the view bug. So that our HTML can look at that. So, makita niya yung view bug.role name. And then, makita rin niya dito yung view bug.role ID. Do you follow? So, that's the communication between our controller and our view. Okay? Edit users enroll HTML is our view. HTML yung view, code, C# code yung controller. So in ASP.NET, the controller looks like our code behind. No? Do you follow? Kaya lang, it's not exactly code behind. No? It's the code in the server. Okay? That's running to control this. Okay? Do you follow? Okay? Okay. Okay. So anyway, let's look at the HTTP post in the roles controller. So it will pass the ID of the role. It will pass and the list of roles view model. What is roles view model? Let's look at our view model. This is a list of users and names and is selected. Do you follow? Pass from the HTML dito. Okay? Because the model being used is role users view model. Okay? Iba yung roles model, no? Kaysa roles view model saka role users view model. Ang roles model, view model is the model for all roles. Role users view model is the model for users belonging to a role. Do you follow? No? Any questions so far? Okay, so let's go back to our controller. So ito, no? So if it's selected, we will add, no? We will add the role to the user. We are going to add the user to the role. Add to role, the user and the role name. This is part of the identity framework, no? Ng ASP.NET Core. Built-in na ito. You don't have to, no, but as long as you are going to add to role the user. The first is the user and the second is the role name. Ang user, nakuha na natin ang kanyang ID by calling, no? Find async, no? User ID. If it's selected and user is in role, we just don't do anything because the user is already in the role. If it's selected but the user is not in the role, we don't, I'm sorry, if it's selected and the user is no, in the role, we are going to add the user to the role. If it's not selected and the user is in the role, we are going to remove the user from the role. Do you follow? And then we continue. And so on and so forth. And then we redirect to action to edit so that we will go back to the edit view right away. Let's look at that, no? Any questions so far? Any questions so far, no? Let's look at that. So you just have to read this code, no? I'm sorry, but this looks strange, no? But ganyan talaga yan. If you want to be a programmer, you really have to do some coding and to understand the coding. So we are going to add, I have removed the roles, no? So I can add or remove, for example, I can say admin, okay, and update. So now admin is in this role. Take note, it goes back to edit. This is the edit view because of our return redirect action to edit. So pupunta siya sa edit.html, CSHTML in particular. Do you follow? And when I click save, I'm now in the list of roles. For secretary, I can go back to secretary, no? And then I can add users, no? S and admin, update. Okay, so do I have S and admin? So now I can click save. I go back to this. For encoders, no? For encoders, I can add the three of them. R, S, and admin. Just update. Now take note, if you look at the table, no? Of ASP.NET user roles. So nandito lahat naka-assign. Okay? Do you follow? Okay. So these are the admin roles, or rather, I think this is the secretary role assigned to the admin and the secretary. Okay. This is I believe this is the encoder role assigned to the admin, the secretary, S and R. They follow, and this is the admin role added to the administrator. They follow? Ito yung si administrator. Oh. What's that? Ito yata si administrator, no? Okay, but anyway, I'm sure of that because this is displayed in our web page. Okay, do you follow? Any questions so far? Now it's time to do an example. Okay, let's do an example. Okay, any questions so far? Huh? Let's write an example of an application which has a CRUDs, which has allocated users. No, So, meron na tayong authorization, different types of authorization. Do you follow? Any questions so far? Let's close the management studio. We don't need this. Okay? So, what we'll do is we'll add an employees model. Wala tayong employees table. Let's look at that. I'm sorry, no, I have to go back to this. I'm going to show all the code, no? All the codes I'm going to show in Dagler. Look at that, no? So, tingnan natin yung roles demo. What I'd like to do is to add an employees table from which we are going to create a CRUDs. Okay? Mag-create tayo ng CRUDs. Do you follow? Can I close this? Let's look at the recorder. We have 15 minutes, no? I think we can do that. Okay. Let me just minimize this. Okay. So first, let us create the employees table. We have done this before, no? I'm going just to 5 minutes, no? Let's have a break. We'll have 3 sessions today, no? Okay. Do you follow? We'll have 3 sessions today. Be right back, no? Because the next session is very important. Don't go away. I'm just going to say